Distinguished guests, if you are able, please stand. Her Excellency, the Right Honourable Dame Cindy Kiro, Governor-General of New Zealand.
Tapu, haere maira, koutou e kawe nei ngā maharatanga, ora tau mai e. Haere maira, i raro i te haumarutanga o tēnei whare. Hei whakaruru hau mō tātou e. Nau mai, piki mai, whakatau mai nei e.
O te amorangi ki mua ko te hāpai o ki muri. Ia tau iho ona mana ki tanga ki runga ki tēnā o tātā. He honore he kroria he mau ngārongo ki runga ki te mato te whenua. He whakaro pai ki ngā tangata katoa. Arohaina ngā teina, e ngā tuakana, e noho nei rungi te whakaro putahi pai marire.
Please be seated. E ngā mana, e ngā reo, e ngā iwi o ngā hau e whā, tēnei aku mihi mahana ki o koutou. Nau mai, hara mai ki te whare nei, te whare o te kāwana tianara ki Tāmaki Makaurau. Tēnā tātou katoa. Distinguished guests, it is my pleasure to welcome you all to Government House Auckland for today's investiture ceremony. I'd like to specifically acknowledge the Honourable Mark Mitchell, Minister of the Crown, Commissioner Richard Chambers, New Zealand Police, Mr Joe Haruwira, our kaumātua, and Mrs Pauline Hopper, our kuia. Tēnā koutou katoa. Hosting investiture ceremonies is one of the most important duties I perform on behalf of His Majesty, the King of New Zealand. I'm delighted to bring together such an extraordinary group of New Zealanders. You have each brought pride and a greater sense of well-being to Aotearoa New Zealand through your outstanding achievements, your service and your courage. On behalf of all New Zealanders, I extend my sincerest thanks to you for your contributions. After each recipient is honoured, I invite you to join with me in congratulating them. Mr Ward Carmel will now summon the recipients and read their citations.
Your Excellency, to receive the insignia of the New Zealand Bravery Decoration, the late Constable Matt Hunt of Auckland, for an act of exceptional bravery in a situation of danger. Mid-morning on 19 June 2020, Constable Matt Hunt and Constable David Goldfinch were on traffic duty in West Auckland in a police vehicle. A vehicle approached from the opposite direction, which caught the officer's attention. And a check of the police system found that the vehicle owner was the subject of several police alerts. They activated their lights and followed the vehicle, intending to perform a traffic stop. The vehicle sped off and, as the officers followed, it lost control and crashed into a parked vehicle, which was being loaded by a member of the public who was injured in the collision. The fleeing vehicle sustained crash damage, making it inoperable. Constable Goldfinch exited the police vehicle, intending to provide first aid to those involved in the crash. However, the occupant of the crashed vehicle exited and pointed a semi-automatic firearm at Constable Goldfinch. Constable Goldfinch was unarmed and attempted to reason with the offender to put down his weapon. The offender responded by firing at Constable Goldfinch. Constable Hunt was still in the police vehicle and radioed the police comm centre as the first shot was fired, requesting assistance. Constable Goldfinch initially took cover behind parked cars as the offender continued to fire at him before fleeing further down the road. Constable Goldfinch received gunshot wounds before taking cover in a nearby property. Within 14 seconds, the offender had fired 9 shots at Goldfinch. As the offender was firing, Constable Hunt radioed again to advise shots fired. Without knowledge of Constable Goldfinch's location, Constable Hunt exited the police vehicle to assist his fellow officer. Constable Hunt took only a few steps before the offender returned from following Constable Goldfinch and shot Constable Hunt several times. Constable Hunt fell to the ground and made one final attempt to radio police comms. The offender retrieved a second firearm from his crashed vehicle and threatened a nearby resident, forcing her to drive him away from the scene in another vehicle. Constable Hunt died at the scene. Constable Matt Hunt's insignia will be received by his mother, Diane Hunt. Please come forward. The next 3 recipients are recognised for their bravery during the same event. Mid-afternoon on 3 September 2021, a man who had been under intense police surveillance entered a supermarket in New Lynn, Auckland, and acquired a large kitchen knife which he used to indiscriminately attack people across several aisles of the store. Within minutes, the offender caused significant injuries to 5 individuals and attempted to attack members of the public and staff who had barricaded themselves in a storeroom before being fatally shot by police officers. Your Excellency, to receive the insignia of the New Zealand Bravery Decoration, Mr. Ross Tomlinson of Auckland for an act of exceptional bravery in a situation of danger. Ross Tomlinson was present in the supermarket at the time of the attack. He heard screams and saw shoppers rush out of the store. He witnessed the offender standing over a wounded woman on the floor. Mr. Tomlinson, who had paramedic experience, moved towards the woman, intending to assist, telling the offender to drop the knife. Other shoppers joined Mr. Tomlinson in attempting to distract the offender. The offender swung his knife at other shoppers who had gotten closer to him before moving towards Mr. Tomlinson. Mr. Tomlinson grabbed a stanchion for protection from the supermarket counter area. Mr. Tomlinson and other shoppers followed the offender to keep him distracted, using stanchions and trolleys to maintain distance and barriers. The shoppers retreated to either end of an aisle, with the offender in the middle, his attention split between the groups. At this time, 2 police officers arrived to confront the offender, who was subsequently fatally shot. Mr. Tomlinson then used his paramedic experience to assist the wounded with first aid. Mr. Ross Tomlinson, please come forward. Your Excellency, to receive the insignia of the New Zealand Bravery Medal, Mr. Mike Andrews of Auckland for an act of bravery. Mike Andrews was present in the supermarket at the time of the attack, hearing people yell that someone had a knife before moving towards the commotion with another male shopper. Mr. Andrews then observed 2 wounded individuals fall to the ground. The offender returned to a woman he had previously attacked, who was lying on the ground, crouching over the woman to stab her. Mr. Andrews saw this and approached the offender, shouting at him to distract him away from the woman. Other shoppers joined Mr. Andrews in attempting to distract the offender. The offender reacted by trying to stab Mr. Andrews before moving away. Mr. Andrews followed the offender, intending to keep an eye on him and to distract him further. The shoppers, distracting the offender, moved to opposite ends of an aisle, putting distance and barriers between them. At this time, 2 police officers arrived to confront the offender, who was subsequently fatally shot. Mr. Andrews then assisted in providing first aid, removing his shirt and applying pressure to one individual's wounds. Mr. Mike Andrews, please come forward. Mr. Rod Khan of Auckland for an act of bravery. Rod Khan was present in the supermarket at the time of the attack. He heard screaming and saw a person run past with an injury. Mr. Khan saw the offender stabbing a woman who was on the ground. Mr. Khan ran towards the offender and threw tins of tuna at him to distract him. Other shoppers joined Mr. Khan in attempting to distract the offender away from the woman. As Mr. Khan approached, the offender suddenly turned and lunged at him with the knife. Mr. Khan retreated, tripping over a supermarket trolley, dislocating his shoulder, but avoiding being stabbed. The offender moved away and other shoppers continued to try to distract him. Mr. Khan left the supermarket, assisted by his wife, and received medical treatment for his injury. Mr. Rod Khan, please come forward. Mr. Zach Bristow of Northland for an act of bravery. Late on the night of 18 May 2023, 3 intoxicated men attempted to gain entry to Hokianga Hospital in Rawene. They were accompanied by a healthcare assistant, as one of the men had a severe laceration to his wrist. A nurse let the group inside the hospital and directed the wounded man to a bed in the emergency room. 2 nurses then attempted to clean and assess the injury, but the wounded man was agitated, flailing his arms and acting aggressively. The nurses were the only medical staff on duty. The 3 men became increasingly aggressive, verbally abusing the 2 nurses. They became severely agitated and angry when the nurses and the healthcare assistant attempted to stop them, as they were creating an unsafe and hostile environment for the 2 nurses and other patients. 2 of the men made death threats against the nurses. The nurses locked themselves inside an office and called the police. The closest police station was a 90-minute drive away. The nurses contacted the Rawene Fire Service, and volunteer firefighter Mr. Zach Bristow, who was on call, arrived within 10 minutes. In this time, the men continued to verbally abuse the nurses, demanding they treat the wounded man, and, being advised the doctor was on his way, one man broke a door to a patient's room and assaulted the patient. The doctor arrived and was also punched in the face. On his arrival, Mr. Bristow attempted to speak calmly with the 3 men, which worked initially before the men became aggressive and violent again. Mr. Bristow attempted to intercept the men who were walking towards other patients' rooms. The men started kicking and punching Mr. Bristow, continuing to do so while he was on the ground, while the nurses and doctor stayed in the office. The police arrived and de-escalated the situation, allowing the doctor to treat the injured man before police removed the 3 men. Mr. Bristow demonstrated bravery in distracting 3 intoxicated, agitated men away from harming hospital staff and patients, receiving injuries as a result. Mr. Zach Bristow, please come forward. Your Excellency, to receive the King's Service Medal, Mr. Peter Priest and Mrs. Sue Priest of Whangamata for services to Māori and conservation. Now, Peter Priest, Te Atiawa o Taranaki, Ngāti Rāiri, chairs the Ngāti Rāiri Apu o Atiawa Taranaki Management Committee. Sue Priest is Treasurer on the Ngāti Rāiri Apu o Atiawa Management Committee. They have made significant contributions to estuary care in Whangamata. He is co-chair of the Whangamata Community Marae and Wellbeing Hub Governance Group. They are both trustees of the Whangamata Community Marae Trust, where Sue is also treasurer. They helped prepare the business case to secure land for a community marae in Whangamata. Mr. and Mrs. Priest have helped with the development of Māori language, culture and tikanga in Whangamata, including te reo lessons and helping organise the community's first Matariki celebrations. Mr. Peter Priest and Mrs. Sue Priest, please come forward. Your Excellency, the investiture has concluded.
New Zealand's honours system is our highest public affirmation of outstanding individual achievement and service. It reinforces those things that make our society better: the pursuit of excellence, manaakitanga, and service to the public good. To our recipients, it has been a privilege to hear your individual stories, which have included heart-rending accounts of extraordinary courage. Our communities are particularly indebted to individuals who have the presence of mind to act when others are threatened with harm, and who do so without pausing to consider the risk to their own lives. President Kennedy spoke about the qualities that enable some individuals to act in this way when he said, "We do what we must do in spite of personal consequences, in spite of obstacles and dangers and pressures, and that is the basis of all human morality." I want to acknowledge also the work that has been done in communities by our recipients here this morning. You have truly shown us the way forward. Please wear your insignia with pride at every opportunity, knowing that you inspire others by your example. On behalf of the King of New Zealand and all New Zealanders, I thank you again for your achievements and your loved ones' achievements, and for their service and all of your service to our country. Kia ora, hui mai tātou I tēnei rā. Now, very shortly, the formal part of this morning's ceremony will conclude, and I will welcome you all to enjoy the manaakitanga of the House and a special time among family and friends and colleagues. But first, I invite you to look at the back of your program for the words to the National Anthem in Te Reo and English. Please stand with me and join in singing the National Anthem.